Hey everyone. So as I said in my last video, if you have not seen that, I am currently recording in my shed because I do have someone working on our back door and there's a lot of noise involved. So we are out here. It is not the best lighting. I'm sure the sound, the angle, all of it's pretty off. But I've missed quite a few uploads. I've missed talking about a few things that have happened that I feel like should still be talked about. And in my last video, I talked about the situation with Boogie and Frank Castle, Boogie being in jail, and I felt like that was something that no matter how long it's been, it's still important to talk about. And this subject is kind of the same. It's something that, again, just like with the Boogie situation, would not usually be talked about on my channel, I guess. Not that I've ever set any real guidelines for what would or would not be talked about, but it's something that I feel is wrong, so I want to speak on it. Before I get into it, I'm going to give my disclaimer. I do cuss in my videos. My channel in general is not kid-friendly, so if you have any little ones around, please go watch something else, and please come back. I would love to have you here, like I love having all of you guys here. So yeah, let's get into this. Eugienia Cooney. She has been online on YouTube for a really, really, really long time. And in that time, it has been abundantly clear that she suffers from an eating disorder. And I'm sorry if these words trigger you, but I want to say it for what it is. I'm not monetized. I don't worry about losing monetization. And I like keeping it that way. I'm not saying the words to trigger anyone. So if this is a sensitive subject, please go watch something else. But I like to say what it is and put it out there because I feel like sometimes when it's talked about and it's kind of, I feel like the point doesn't get across in the same way sometimes when people are talking about it and they're having to mute out words or replace it with other things. Like, I just want it to be what it is. And what it is Eugienia Cooney suffers from an eating disorder and has been for many, 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 many years. So kind of going to talk a little bit about her history, how I found her, things that have gone on, and then we're going to get into where the situation is today and why this is still such a big issue and why I felt that it was so important to talk about. So when I found Eugienia, I remember it being a video of this obviously skeleton-like girl. I don't know how else to describe that, and I'm sorry if that's insensitive, but that's what I saw it as. She was wearing these gothic looking clothes, and I remember the thumbnail being her in like the street walking around like that. And obviously I was intrigued, I was fascinated, but also it's one of those things kind of like how when you ride by a car wreck, and you want to see it, you don't want to see it because it's horrible, but you do because your brain is fascinated by these things. It's human nature. So I remember seeing her. I clicked on the video and I was like, oh my god, this is real. I think that was the first bit of curiosity is what it was. And then seeing that was real, I got away from it because that's not something that I would watch and be interested in. So I never watched Eugenia's content as a fan or someone trying to enjoy it. But not long after that, because I believe that's when I first really started watching YouTube. It's been a long time. But I remember her name being brought up and recognizing her, obviously, because it's not hard to recognize Eugenia. But there was things going on between her and Onision. And Onision at the time was really big. He's a piece of shit, if you don't know, which I'm sure many of you do. And basically he was being very insensitive to Eugenia. And Eugenia has always denied having an eating disorder. That's been an ongoing thing. So for years she would say, I'm fine, I'm just naturally skinny, there's nothing wrong, I don't know why you guys keep bringing this up. And for years people have pointed it out, people have reached out in so many different ways trying to be caring. And there's been the assholes who just, talk pure shit to her But it's definitely something that has been very obvious, it's been talked about, and it's been going on for a very long time. So I think when Onision made his videos back then, people were upset with the fact that he was being insensitive towards her, and he was being a dick, and we all agreed he was being a dick. But I think that set this whole idea that Eugenia needed to be protected, because there were many people who came out at the time making videos saying this is not how you get someone like in this situation, this is not how you get them help, this is not how you get them to get help. So fast forward to just a couple years ago, or years, I don't even know how long it's been since the whole Shane Dawson documentary thing. Shane Dawson and Katie, oh dear God, the therapist Katie, who cares? She's a piece of shit too. If you don't know, Katie actually set it up for Eugenia to be 5950 through Jacqueline, Glenn, and that whole friend group. So she set it up for Eugenia to be involuntarily committed to get help for her eating disorder. Then she went on to film a docu-series with Shane Dawson about Eugenia and about, what it was like in her recovery, at which point Eugenia looked healthier, but obviously because she had been forced into treatment. And it's much like a drug addiction. It's something that you have to make that choice for yourself to get better, or else it's not going to help. And of course, it does save that person at the time. I'm not saying that there's no reason to force people into treatment at some point. It can save their life. However, at the end of the day, when they come home and what happens after that, really, it does depend on the person. It's gonna take them needing and wanting to do better for it to happen. Also, side note, there has been a lot of suspicion about the family, Eugenia's family, especially her mother, not only supporting her eating disorder and not getting her help, but also banking on that and making this money and pushing her to stay unhealthy to continue to live the lifestyle that Eugenia's YouTube career and everything, the money and lifestyle provides for her family. And I don't know how true it is. I don't think anyone does really know how true it is, but I could see it. In my opinion, I believe that's possible. But at the end of the day, this is about Eugenia and her decision. And yes, maybe she is afraid of her family. Maybe she's afraid of not being able to provide, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Eugenia is grown, and that's the point that I want to get to. So, like I said, when Onision made those very insensitive videos, people felt the need to protect Eugenia. And again, I do understand that being shitty to her was not a way to help her. But from that point on, there's been this protection, and then when the Shane Dawson docu-series come out, it was about, okay, she's doing better, we need to be good to her, put her in a better light. Because Eugenia, over time, has started getting more and more hate, because it's not just about her and her health. It's about the influence that she has on her much younger audience, and that has been a point of conversation and conflict for years, is the fact that she not only denied her eating disorder, but she denied the fact that, or any responsibility to these younger children who are trying to look like her and be like her. And there's been many times that she's like, well, I can't help if someone wants to look like me, you shouldn't want to look like me. But she's never really taken responsibility and accountability. And for me, that's always been an issue. But I've never talked about this because it's a huge topic. It's a lot that goes into this and that is affected by this. And I feel like, there are other YouTubers, there are other people that do a much better job of explaining things. But it's to a point now where there's this petition to get Eugenia taken off of YouTube. And it's gotten so many signatures, so much support, but yet here she is. And I think that's a bigger conversation to be had about YouTube, which has been going on for quite some time. YouTube will support some of the worst people and some of the worst influences because that brings in money. And so that's its own thing. But this whole trying to protect Eugenia, trying to make her out to be something so sweet and innocent, it's just not her fault, and she's scared of her family, and this and that and the other, I believe has just gone way too far. And the thing about it is, most people don't think about the fact that Eugenia is a grown woman. And I give part of the credit of that to the Onisions and the people who have talked pure shit to her, and us feeling the need to protect her, us being people that are kind-hearted and that care. And there are a lot of good people on YouTube and on the internet in general. You know, we always see the trolls and the bad, but there are a lot of good, caring people out there. So I feel like, in part, it's the people that really do care that felt the need to protect her from people like Onision and other people who just really treated her like shit. But also, I blame a lot of this on Eugenia. And I'm not saying I blame her having an eating disorder on herself. I blame the fact that she's not willing to take responsibility at all, or accountability at all, on her. And I blame this whole image that she's created on her, because she's not completely unaware, okay? I think that she puts off this, how do I put it, this persona, this whole persona is created by Eugenia. The way she talks, okay? It's been talked about and even touched on in the Shane Dawson docuseries that Eugenia consciously talks differently when she's online, whether she's in a video or live streaming. She talks very high-pitched and very soft and sweet and very kid-like, very childlike, okay? And it's a way of keeping her in this image. And the noise today, that is a trash truck. I'll just pause it for a second. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, I apologize. There was probably a lot more noise throughout this video than I intended. Hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully you can bear with me. I know this isn't the most organized, well put together video, but it's really just me trying to get all my thoughts out about this topic at once, and that's important to me because it's something that I've definitely had thought about many, many times. So, back to Eugenia's persona. She tries to sound, the way she talks, the way she, everything about her, she's very innocent, and, you know, I don't see why people see me this way. And like, if you look at her room, it's full of stuffed animals and pale pink, and I'm not saying that adults can't have that type of room. Fine, do you. But it's all about this image and this, you know, Eugenia is so sweet, and I've heard that for years. Eugenia is so sweet, she's so kind. The fact that she, for the longest time, wouldn't clap back or argue with anyone, you know, it made her look more sweet and innocent and vulnerable versus someone of her age who can think for themselves and stand up for themselves, but also can take responsibility for themselves. I think this is very purposeful. And that brings us to where we are today. So recently, within the last few days, and like I said, I'm late, but still important. Eugenia made a video, and it was a shoe haul. Okay, now, many other people have made videos about this, and you're probably going to hear me say a lot of the same things, but I still want to talk about it. In this video, Eugenia flashes her underwear several times, like throughout the entire video, and this isn't a short video. Now, most shoe haul videos, most shoe try-on videos, the focus is typically on your feet, on the shoes, to show them off in the best way. Now, I'm not someone who watches shoe hauls. I'm not one to watch fashion videos, but I do know that much. For example, someone who doesn't always do fashion videos but has Graveyard Girl. she used to show them off and do her little jump, and you would see the shoes. The focus was on the shoes because that's what the video was about. In Eugenia's video, her body is positioned in front of the camera, center. When she shows when she shows off a shoe, she's sitting on an ottoman, sitting down with a mini skirt and fishnets on, and that's something else. All her clothing choices, all her fashion is very, very skimpy and showy, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But to show off the shoe, she would lift her foot, which I can't even, because I'm standing up and you're on a shelf, but she would lift her foot to show the shoe, and of course that area was clear to see. She was wearing pink underwear, and it happened several times. It's also been pointed out that throughout the video, she is looking at the viewfinder instead of at the camera, which is, Eugenia's been on YouTube and making videos for really, really long time, many, many years, so she knows what to look at, she knows how to film. This is purposeful. So I know Repzzilla had pointed out that there were several live streams where she would move certain ways, do certain things, and there would be like tips or donations or whatever you get on live streams, I don't know, Twitch. But it's very much purposeful. Just like I believe her persona has been purposeful. I believe that the way she dresses, this has been something that many, many people have talked about. Many people have made videos about her in these skimpy clothes. It's her showing off her sick body. Is called body checking, which is, I don't know a whole lot about eating disorders. I don't know a whole lot about this stuff. But I have heard that is body checking. Is showing, the way she moves her arms shows how skinny her arms are. Showing off her fishnets, stockings, showing how tiny her legs are. And now this whole other extreme of sexualizing herself, showing off her underwear several times through a video. You can't say that it was an accident when the camera is pointed right at it. She's looking at the viewfinder. Even after that, she had to edit this video. Other people had to look at this video and approve it. And this is something that's never happened before. As something else Repzzilla had pointed out, there was a live stream before where someone had asked her to show her shoes while she's standing up. And she was like, well, I don't want to show anything. So she's very much aware. And that's the thing. That's the whole point of my video, is to say Eugenia is aware. Eugenia is not stupid. She's not some ditzy, sweet, innocent, airheaded girl. She is a grown woman. That is where the focus needs to be. We can argue point by point every situation, everything she's done all day long. But it comes down to the fact that regardless of any of that, Eugenia is a grown woman, flashing her underwear to the camera, showing off her slutty clothes, I'm going to call it for what it is, to show off her body, regardless of what her body looks like. She is purposely dressing in that way to show off her body. A grown woman on YouTube to her young fans. As far as how that affects everyone, it's not good. None of this is good. But I'm tired of seeing everyone, which, I've seen a change. I've seen a change in the way people have went from protecting her to standing up to her. And I don't think that she can keep this going for so long. And I think because people have stopped seeing her as this innocent, little girl, I think that's why it's being pushed to this next level, because people are fed up with her saying, well, I'm just skinny, I'm not sick, I don't know what y'all are worried about, blah, 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 and they're calling her out more and more, and now she's kind of resorting to whatever she can, because even when this got called out, she talked about it, and her whole thing was, well, I don't really see what the big deal is, and I don't really care, and I'm not taking the video down. She's doing all of this on purpose. She is a grown woman. regardless of what she talks like, regardless of what her bedroom looks like, all of it, just all of that aside, it does not matter. None of that matters. Whether she really is this airheaded, sweet, innocent little person or not, she is a grown woman. And she needs to be held accountable for the lives that she is affecting. Because that's what it comes down to. And I hate to see it for her. I'm just like everyone else. I would love to see her get better, be healthier. But that's not going to happen as long as she is making money doing what she's doing. Like, that's just a fact. As long as she is making money off of YouTube and this is keeping her life and her family's life provided for, this will never stop. So not only are you, by standing up, by talking about this, by pushing for YouTube to take this shit seriously and take her channel down and deplatform her, you're not only saving the lives of many younger people who are looking up to Eugenia, but you may save her life. But I can guarantee by letting this go on and continuing to support this, it's never going to get any better. Not for her and not for the many young kids that are watching this. Not just girls, but kids in general. None of this is going to get any better. And the fact that not only is she promoting her eating disorder and showing it off and making it, what do you call it, glorifying it, now it's being sexualized. And there's been other things that have gone on in her Discord, which has been another topic of drama, where there have been predators trying to talk to younger girls in her Discord. So the fact that this is now being sexualized even more and openly, and that she's not apologizing for it, she's, I don't care, I don't see what the big deal is, you saw my underwear, is only going to get worse from this point on. And I really hope that by making this video that we can keep that conversation going as well. And I hope that there will be more open and honest videos by people that are more educated than I am, or that were close to her at some point, or people just with bigger platforms. I hope that there are more people that will step up and call it for what it is. Stop being scared to be canceled by the internet for saying the wrong thing. I'm not the best at wording shit. I don't know the most about eating disorders. I'm not doing this to be hurtful or harmful to anyone. But sometimes it just needs to be said, and it needs to be put out there. And like I said, truth is, she has an eating disorder. She is now sexualizing everything about herself to try to continue to make money on this platform. And it is hurting not only herself, but many young kids, teenagers. And YouTube is just letting this shit go on because it makes them money. So it's very frustrating. It's sad in a lot of ways. And again, I do feel for Eugenia to some extent. But that's all I can do at this point. Because at the end of the day, she's a grown woman who is very, very much aware of what she is doing. And this is a job to her. So I hope that more people can open their eyes and see that. And again, not just keep the conversation going, not just, I hope people stop tiptoeing around it. I want more people to step up and just call it out for what the fuck it is. I think everyone's afraid to, say the wrong thing or, trigger people in this way or that way. It just comes down to the fact that she is a grown woman and that this is not only hurting herself, but hurting other people. And we as a community have the chance to make enough noise about it to make a difference. But it has to be called out for what it is, and you can't be afraid to say the words or to flat out call her out for what she's doing and what she is, and it's not okay. So there's been a few people that have talked about this. Like I said, I've mentioned Repzzilla a couple times. Also, Pastel Belle made a video about it, and she just made another video which I haven't finished watching, but I'll link all of this, where one of her Eugienia Cooney videos has now been taken down, although she was using it to educate people on why this is bad, why this is wrong, using clips from Eugenia's videos that are still up. Like, Eugenia's stuff is still up, but they took her stuff down for promoting harmful content. So I wanted to just say, even though I haven't finished watching that video, I just want to show support for Pastel Belle, because she does a wonderful job, and she knows how to talk about this stuff. She's, educated on eating disorders, and she's very kind and very caring and very careful about how she talks about things, but in a good way, while still while still getting her point across and being very clear about what that is. So I just want to show her some support. I think what YouTube did to her is completely fucked up, and I think it's time that more people with bigger platforms and bigger voices start talking about this and calling it out for what it is. So, I don't know that this video will make any difference, but here we are. I felt like, again, I made my channel to talk about things that I felt were wrong on YouTube. People that I felt were doing wrong and harming others on YouTube. And it may have started with something as stupid as Katie Joy and her bullshit, but if I'm going to keep doing this, I want it to be more than that, because I fell in love with this platform years ago. And I know this is a really long video, but I started out watching Jenna Marbles because she was funny. And then I've watched so many different kinds of videos, so many different people and genres, and the idea of coming on here and being on here myself and having people that will actually take the time and listen to what I have to say is something that I don't take lightly. So while, yes, I'm late to these subjects, these are things that I felt were important, and I want to talk about things that I feel are important. Will I still talk about Katie Joy's bullshit? Yes, all day long, because I find it funny. But I think there's a lot more that can be done with people like me and people that care. People like you guys. So hopefully this will make a difference. And if nothing else, I just want to show support for those who are speaking out and calling it for what it is. So, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.